Well, welcome to another episode of The Billy Ho Show. Now, in 1956, the Springboks came and played the All Blacks. And me, along with just about every other kid in the schools around Auckland, we all went to Eden Park and sat down on the grass and we watched that game. I don't know if you were there or not, but if you were, maybe you saw me. I was 2 rows back from the front. And but anyway, what we're going to do is continue our tour of the USA and continue our look around the Brooks Truck Museum. In New Zealand, we've got the KB, which stands for all the fruit, extra chrome and all the, and this is outstanding. But the KB8, that's starting to get up there. I think they went up to 11. I think some big petrol tankers I've seen were KB11.
Yeah, we had a logging truck here that was one of the bigger ones. Not a logging, but a cattle truck.
Oh, right.
That was one of the bigger ones here.
Yeah. You see, it's got the the steel pole instead of the wooden pole, but I don't think, you might be able to tell me if I'm wrong, folks, but if anybody knows of one of these who are actually used on logs in New Zealand, there's my contact details. Give me a call. Love to hear from you. But a man called Gordon Malcolm, he's got a set of about 6 of these that he's restored, and he said the Americans at the time loved them because they went so fast. They were really, really fast truck, and you could pretty much outrun the cops just about with them. Yeah, so he really enjoyed them. This is similar to the Macks they call the Fred Clinto Mack, and a couple of shows ago we were talking to Gerard and he's restoring one, and yesterday we saw the B series version of what this is, and here's one at this one here at the museum. It's got a gold dog, and that's very gold, that one, and that of course means that everything in it is Mack, and the silver one of course means there's something not quite Mack about it. But anyway, it's just great to see another off-road version of the Mack R series cab, and looking very bulletproof. I can see one of the things about having suicide doors, Rick, is if you've got a tipper and your door's gone around a wee bit and you've forgotten, you're still not paying attention, your tipper comes down, and of course this is going to crunch your door off. But Lockie, let's have a look at this photograph, folks, and Lockie is driving this International, which looks similar to this, but it too had a suicide door. In Taramanui, at one of the truck runs we were doing, there was a photograph going around about what sort of truck did you think this was, and it looked a lot like this, and but I thought it was a...
You got to slam it.
I thought it was an International, and but it could have been an autocar like this. But when you look at getting in this, Rick, I mean that's...
Yeah, I've been in and out of it several times. Hopefully the wasp are all gone.
That's where you should be getting into most trucks, and you just swing yourself around, you... and you're in, sort of.
Now I'll tell you the rest of the story. The reason why I don't get in it too often is it's got a lot of wasp in it.
Oh, okay. Hooray! Well, the odd snake.
Well, I got a lot of spiders, though. But it did have a lot of wasps. They might be hibernating now.
It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 instruments in front of me here. A reasonable steering wheel. I don't think it's power steering, is it? This will be all
not power
Armstrong. Steering. Mr. Armstrong, as I was saying, it's a very cosy cab if you've got somebody with you. But the Commerce had the entry up in the front here too, and the only thing about it was
that handle right there.
If you're getting into things, that happened and you went flat on your bum.
That's the reason why you turn around, come out backwards, you come right on down.
That's nice and flat. But anyway, we've
next step, then the last step.
Easy. But there aren't too many trucks with suicide doors, although there are a few, but you're looking at one of the rare trucks in the world, a suicide door.
And you can be the proud owner of it.
And it's for sale. Rick, it's for sale. There you go, folks. It's about $3 to get this back to New Zealand. You own a very unique truck, and it's for sale. Why not? How do you say that, Doan?
Dome. They just pronounced it Dome.
Oh, okay. Transfer truck, used by Oregon Transfer Company. What did they transfer?
Well, one of his last jobs, was to haul freight from the rail yards to the downtown merchants in Portland. Back in them days, the sidewalks were 18 inches off the ground, made out of wood, because it rained so much.
Yeah. Wow.
And there's a winch on this, they would winch, the cargo come in big crates, they'd winch it on here, out of the boxcar, take it to the man who ordered it, downtown merchant, and they'd winch it onto the sidewalk in front of his store. He'd come out, open a big crate, and take his stuff inside.
So it was like the first container.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I like the engine, them two jugs there.
Yeah. Look at that. And they built their own engine, or was that somebody else's?
I think that is a, they got a name for it, I can't think of it.
So Waukesha, did you say Waukesha? Waukesha?
Waukesha. Manufacturing store. Yeah, Waukesha.
Yeah,
It's a
Waukesha.
Waukesha engine.
And they had Continental, and there was another one as well. If you bought enough of their engines, they would actually put your logo on the side of the exhaust manifold.
That's a Yellow Knight. They're very rare. This is the only one we got in what we call barn fresh, because we figured we'd never get another one.
Barn fresh.
They come right out of the barn into here.
Yeah. So, what's the date? 1927. 1927? Really? They even obviously made their own engine.
Yeah, they did. There's a knight holding a shield in armor. That's the reason why it was called a Yellow Knight.
Wow. Federal is a truck that came to New Zealand. Up until about 1940 something, they've got Federals. And this is 1922. And I wonder how far back they go. 4-cylinder, Continental engine, as I was saying before.
Yeah, they go back a long ways. I really don't know when.
Sure. Looks good in black. And Republic also came to New Zealand.
Yeah.
And
that's my oldest truck.
was it? Oh, okay.
That's 104 years old.
Wow. I just love the little Republic logo just sitting on the top there. But the guys have restored Republics in New Zealand that look just as good as this one does. But the grill, the top of the radiator, I mean, it's the same. Yeah. So this one's 1912. I think the ones we were looking at were 1918, 1920, 21, around about that era. But they still had this same looking grill on the front. They never had this, of course, but very close. Wow. 1934 Fagel.
Yeah.
We got that right. But just looking at this, it's sort of, it's got the square cab, but it's a big truck.
Yeah.
I don't know what size the engine is. What does it say? 150 horsepower. 150 horsepower in 1934. What I like about this, Rick, is this little blind arrangement up here. Obviously, you can pull a wire in the cab there and add a bit more heat to the engine. Yep. But in our time, we just had little buttons there. And you just put a canvas over it, and but a bit of cardboard or
anything.
But this is pre the louvers. Remember the trucks come with the louvers.
Yep. They got automatic louvers now.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, just whatever the heat's required, the truck thinks for itself. You just got to steer it. Yeah. Wooden bumper across there. Decent headlights. And this is the more modern version next door?
Well, this is actually older than this one.
You're joking.
No.
What?
That's a 1930, this is a 34. But now I'll give you the story, the reason why it looks like it does. This was owned by Tidewater Barnes. They took and used it up. I mean, they totally used it up. They put it behind some grain elevators and left it. Well, then they decided they wanted to restore it. Well, by then, you couldn't get
any of that
parts. But Fagel become Peterbilt.
Okay.
So the early Peterbilt parts are right there. That's how they had to restore it, with early Peterbilt parts. That's the reason why it looks newer
than that. So how did it become Peterbilt?
Well, let me think on that a minute. The Federal brothers were going broke back then. And a timber tycoon from the Pacific Northwest wanted logging trucks built his way. So he went down there and he got all he could get out of receivership. They went into receivership on these trucks. He took everything back to Seattle and said, I'm building these trucks, I'm putting my name on them. His last name was Peterman. That's where Peterbilt come from.
Right.
Because he was building them.
So Peterbilt has a reputation in New Zealand anyway of being the sort of like the Rolls Royce or the top of the range of truck.
Nowadays they're all the same.
Oh, okay, so at this time you could put whatever engine you wanted in it, whatever diff ratios you wanted in it, whatever gearbox, you could just, and then he would build it, a bit like Kenworth.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, we'll make.
Yep.
And it'll have our name on. But it's interesting that this is the predecessor of Peterbilt.
The Federal brothers actually had a bus line that went clear up into the 1960s.
Wow.
And they kept that, but this went into receivership.
Wow. Can we have a look in the at the engine? Is it a Federal engine or is it something else?
I think they're all Cummins engines.
Oh, okay.
They're
Oh,
all
we don't need to do that.
That's a Cummins 150, and this has got a Cummins in it also.
Sure. But I'm just saying again, once again, you know, this is what's available in 1934, 150 horsepower.
Yeah.
As opposed to 80. We looked at one of these yesterday in Monroe in a big pile of derelict trucks, and this one had white Freightliner.
I got one down there.
But you're calling it a bubble nose.
Right.
Only because it pops out of it. That's
yeah. It comes out a little bit where your cab over straight up and down.
Sure. Rick, we've got the most intimidating truck on the road as far as I'm concerned. This is about a 1990, give or take, Freightliner, narrow windscreens across the top, and as you see that, and you're going along in your car, and you see this thing coming up behind you. Oh God! Particularly if it's got a sort of that, you know, they've got an evil-looking sun visor across the top, just makes it look even more intimidating, as it were. But a very big truck. And when you've got to climb up the side of these things to get in them, you need a little flag to say, yoo-hoo, I've reached the summit. And it's a full width cab, so when you get in this thing after driving something like a Kenworth or a Mack that's narrow, and you've got to swap into this thing, it must just blow your proportion. Gee whiz, it's a long way across the other side.
Your narrowest trucks are actually Peterbilt. We ain't got any in here now. We got them all outside. And your Macks have got real narrow cabs.
Yeah. So you get out of that and into one of these.
Yeah,
you've got to reassess yourself.
You got acres of room.
Yeah. But then you've got to sort of judge where the other side is, you know.
Well, you got to judge where he puts the coffee cup in.
Yeah, that's right. So I climb up into this, and when I come back out again, like getting into those FR Macks, you've got to start on the right foot. And then you end up going in, and when you come out, you've got to sort of be in the...
Come out backwards and place your right foot and your left foot, and then get to the ground. If you come out forward, it's going to hurt.
There's nowhere to go. Anyway, it's good you got one in here. But it's just amazing. That's in a museum, and that's 1990.
Well, it's here because the fellow who drove this truck picked it up new, put 2 million miles on it. And then he worked for Bi-Mart, which this is a Bi-Mart truck, for 37 years. Unbeknownst to him, they told him to bring the truck here. And he brought it to the back door, and then we raised the back door when he got here, and he had his retirement party all set up. And they parked his truck.
Wow, that's really special. That's great. Yeah. Here we go. This is what we looked at the other day. They had the white Freightliner. Oh yeah, so here we've got the changeover period. Yeah.
Well, this one back here, which is older, says Freightliner.
Okay.
This is a 52, this is a 54.
1954?
Yeah.
1952?
Yeah.
The air cleaner is just behind in front of the
passenger
seat, if you have a passenger, but this is the intake for the air cleaner.
Yeah.
That's it. Just, wow.
They had to keep the Freightliner, the white name, when they got together, and I think it was White that actually bought out Freightliner, but they had to keep the White name so long when they got together. I think it was about 3 years, and then they went back just to Freightliner.
Milburn Lime, every time. Milburn Lime, available all over the Southland District and beyond. Top grade lime that's been available year after year. Call them on 03 417 8228. The next time you need lime, think Milburn Lime, every time. What I've got here is a copy of Talking Trucks. This is a book I wrote a couple of years ago, and it's the history of New Zealand trucking. And it's all from the programs that I did between 2013 and 2016. I'm going to let this go for $25. So it's a special. Christmas is coming up. So if you'd like your copy, there's my phone number, 027 277 0717. Just send me a text or email me, billhohepper@extra.co.nz to get your copy. $25 and the history of New Zealand trucks. My mate Nigel Fraser, who lives down Hawera way, has got a Californian hardtop, a Hillman Californian hardtop for sale. And the Californian hardtop was made in England, and it was made for the American market. In 1953, the first ones went there. But when they were competing, I think, with Studebaker, Ford, Chev in 1953, I don't know how they would have been received in America. Both my mother and my aunt both wanted one, but never actually got one. But here's one for sale. Nigel's got it for sale, so here's Nigel's number. Give him a call, and if a Californian hardtop is you, give Nigel a call and you could own it. In New Zealand, folks, we have a few Federals that came, and one that springs to mind is one that's in the graveyard at the Gisborne Museum, which was a tow truck. And it had the same sort of a grill on it, and it had the Federal logo. But what I like about this wreck is it's enormous. And it's a logging truck, obviously. It's got the pole up the top there, and it's a wooden pole, little sleeve on the top there. Hook it up. But also it's got the sort of the moulded mud guards, and everything around about this time seems to have the mud guards just looking just so. Very, very nice, yeah. But also, a couple of other companies had Federals throughout the New Zealand history because we could get them in the 20s and 30s. And so Federal must be an old company. Yeah. What sort of horsepower would have been in this? 150s? It probably says on
It'll tell you right on there.
Yeah. It's
I think. No, this one don't.
No. Air brakes, a 1950. One.
Well, they could be added too. You never know. Some people updated stuff, and they would add stuff as it comes.
Yeah. And it's still got that same cab look as a lot of other trucks, with different names. Still got that same sort of narrow windowed side door and the windscreen. Yeah, it's just a big truck. Look at the size of those wheels.
This is a gas engine.
Gas? Runs on gas?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, gas powered. Gasoline powered. Oh, so it does about 2 miles to the gallon. Yeah, well, it's only money and it's only gas, and they probably have plenty of it. Rick, this is an indicator.
Yeah.
Lit up, we're going to turn left.
It goes up further than that too.
Oh, okay. So it goes a bit, back in our time we had hands. Little hand on the door, around about the same time, and you pull the little lever, and if you wanted to turn right, the hand come up like that, and you sort of did that with it. So you're either stopping or going to turn right. But it's just interesting that
some of these were lighted.
Oh, okay.
That was lighted at one time.
Sure. I see in there it's got a great layout, of the time layout, and it's got the twin sticks as well.
Yeah.
So very popular, but a great big truck. And as I say, if we had these in 1951, life would have been a breeze, getting logs out of the bush. Wouldn't you say so, folks? Something like this, and all we're battling with the Bedfords and the Commas and the Leylands. Folks, you might remember a few shows ago we did an interview with Peter McKenzie, and he restored an FWD truck from the, I was thinking about a 45 or 46. It went down the line somewhere as a fire truck, and he's got it back and restored it. But here's one in America, left-hand drive, enormous steering wheel up there. And Rick, you were saying it's got some huge horsepower.
It's a 1,090 cubic inch gasoline Hall-Scott engine.
Can we see that?
Now I can show you one out all by itself.
Oh, okay, excellent. But what an enormous thing.
It gets 2 miles to the gallon. Downhill with a tailwind. Other than that, it gets less.
Wow, that's amazing. 1953. 1953. Look at the size of this for 1953.
And the fellow who owns this wants to sell it.
He does? There you go, Peter. It's for sale. Lovely layout. Single, yeah, oh God. Narrow door, same sort of window. Little pads here, but like Peter's one, it's just, everything's just so. The mudguard, tread plate, the flutes. It's even got the same, this is sort of very close to the tractor front.
Yeah.
You know, they never had anything to do with the farm all tractors, these people?
Well, a lot of your truck companies started out as tractor makers.
Oh, of course they did, yeah, yeah. This is one of the bigger trucks here, folks. The 1953 FWD. Enormous. We're still farting around with bloody bedfits. So Rick, here's another Samson, and the man's built a cab over so it doesn't get wet, but gear stick's right behind the engine there, and the engine's right beside him.
Yep.
Samson rings a bell. I think our friend Roger Mann has a couple of Samson tractors, and he's sitting on the back of this tractor, and it goes a fairly long way with a single wheel on the front, and on the top of that is a weather vane looking thing which tells you which way the wheel's turning. But Samson, so they've been around
Long time.
a long time.
Yeah.
Wow. And I guess they're pioneers in some aspects of machinery as well. Yeah. And next door we've got a
1949.
1949 Kenworth. Now, one of the Kenworths we looked at in this pile of Kenworths at Munro had the word Kenworth across this. It just had a round circle, and in it was the word Kenworth. Have you seen that before?
No.
Oh, okay, so that's unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next one had KW, but it was Biskeewith, and it had, this is supposed to be the road or something, is it?
Yeah, that's the way they normally come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but again, as I say, I don't think we've seen in New Zealand anyway. When they started to come in the late 60s, they never had any of this. They just had either the solid fiberglass or the independent mudguard out the side. But this is with the little light on the top again. This is pre-1960. So what year did you say it was?
49.
1949. Well, yeah, 1949. That's.
Wait till you see my 45.
1949. What's wrong with the New Zealand government? Why the hell weren't we allowed to have these?
This one's been a lot of things in its lifetime. It's been a dump truck, van hauler, but the guy set it up to make money. Whatever he can make money, that's the way he made it.
Is this the gear stick pattern?
Yeah, that's the gear shift.
So it has got twin sticks, so there's drive and overdrive.
Yeah.
What's this on the other side here, U and LU?
That I do not know. That's
Okay.
before my time.
Sure, yeah. 1949. 1949. So,
How about a 45?
so those logging trucks we were looking back at, at Munro, they're all in the 40s and 50s. They even had the one that I had the little circle with the Kenworth written on it. That was a heavy duty job. It was all.
It might have been an off-road one.
Yeah, that probably was. Yeah, off highway. Yeah.
They made off-road ones you couldn't bring on the highway.
No, and it had a checker plate and a big, wide, heavy steel guard
Yeah,
on
that was off-road.
it. Yeah. Wow.
That would be a little different.
Yeah. Then we're back to
1945.
1945. And again, as I was saying, that door seems to be universal through a lot of trucks. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. And the same, they just sort of cut out a piece of glass and just put it into the, it's very V, the windscreen shape. But they would have made that cab just out of aluminium or steel.
Well, actually this is steel.
Yeah.
They didn't start until in about late 40s or early 50s making them out of aluminum.
Wow, lovely bumper.
Now notice the headlight here.
Yes, and the one that we looked at that was off highway, that had the headlight sitting out the side as well, but it also had a big steel guard with a hole in it and a little smaller hole here. Stop things, logs and
Off-road
timber.
you would have it that way.
Yeah. We see photographs of enormous trucks, of variety of trucks, and they're stacked up almost ridiculously high with logs.
Yeah.
Do you know where we could find that, or what sort of logs they are?
They were probably fir.
Oh, okay.
They're either fir or redwood.
Stacked up that high.
Yeah. I can show you some pictures over here before we leave that we got back over here of
It's up
the
in-
logs and stuff.
Yeah, it's up in Canada somewhere they were selling it.
But we had them here. They had them in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
There is redwood and huge fir trees in Oregon.
Do they weigh a lot? I mean,
Yeah, they weigh a lot.
they just look so high.
They're not like an oak tree weight.
No.
But
It's just interesting. A lot of people speculate, or is it maybe it's balsa wood or something?
no, it's not.
No. And they're back to the old Ford with the painted grill.
Yeah, it's 1945. You couldn't get chrome.
No. Interesting. Lovely looking truck, but lovely.
It's also got a Ford flathead, or a Ford V8, flathead V8 in it. It's like the same motor that's sitting in the back,
Oh, okay.
but that was on a, what it looked like in a Chris Craft boat back in the day. That's the way a Chris Craft boat looked on the inside.
Ah, right. Chris Craft, yeah. I think we had a few of those come down as well. Well, Rick, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'd like to thank you from all our viewers in New Zealand. They're going to thoroughly enjoy what we've just seen, or what we've just seen. And thank you for taking the time and show us around. It's been absolutely amazing. So there you go, folks. You look up a place called Brooks on your map. It's between Salem and Brooks. It's this place. Not hard to find. And how to get here, it's all, just Google the place and it's all here. You're open when? Mondays, Tuesdays?
Well, actually, we're closed right now.
Oh, okay. So if people were coming to see the place,
They would stop at the office up there.
Yep.
And like when we're closed, like you did,
Yep.
and they get a hold of me and ask me if I will,
Sure.
and I always do.
Okay. So are you open to the public on a regular, like a Monday, the weekend, or something like that?
We are open to the public in our open months from Wednesday through Sunday. Mondays and Tuesdays, I try to get out of here and do something.
Yeah, right, yeah. And so that's all year round, or you're closed over the winter? Or?
We're closed over the winter. We're closed right now.
Oh, okay. So you're not open till when?
Open up, I believe, in May.
May.
But you can still come out here.
Sure.
And I'll still take you.
Fair enough. So folks, if you're looking for a winter holiday, it's summer here in May, June, July, August. It's lovely and warm and lovely sunshine and lots to do and see, but this is absolutely on your bucket list. You have to come here and see this. So there's the website. Get a hold of these guys and come up and enjoy yourself. And Rick, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And if you love tractors, they've got a lot of different tractors here.
And that's right up our alley as well.